form of escapism, really. You have a crappy day at work, come have a skate, especially here for a couple of hours after work, and you can just lose yourself, really.
It's like, you know, say skydiving. It's that same feeling that you'd want, you know, you want to fly, but at the same time, you know, you've got to let that parachute out sometime.
You do something that other people deem as risky, or you yourself deem as risky, and get away from it unscathed, of course you get a bit of a buzz out of that.
It's that rush of, you know, being able to fly, you know. The same with skating, it's that rush of being able to do tricks and to keep the board under control. You know, it takes a lot of coordination to keep it under your feet.
Well, look, you know, if you've had a skate and you've had a fix, it's almost like having a drug, you know. You basically, you feel depressed if you don't have a skate, but when you do have a fix, it's like you can go home, have a couple of beers, or go out, have a few beers, and it's like you're just on top of the world, you know. It's just brilliant, you know.
Yeah, skating for me is lots of things. It's social. I get to hang out with people. I love the sense of getting tired, getting physically exhausted. Really challenges my body, which is a bit jeopardised these days, like my knees and my back and everything.
I just like the feeling, and like surfing, just that flowing feeling, and a good carve or a good grind, going around a good corner. Just as long as you're on the board and cruising around, doesn't matter really what you do. There are things I'd love to do more, but carving around and cruising around just feels good, just a great feeling.
The adrenaline rush is there. To me, it's better than skiing. I've never really understood why people don't really take to it the way they would. They'll go out and buy a snowboard or a set of skis and pay an enormous amount of money for a lift ticket and accommodation or whatever. And with this, there's your, you know, $300 and a couple of $100 for pads and a helmet. I mean, why wouldn't you? I know the concrete's hard and it's not very forgiving, but it's you can get a better rush out of doing this than any snow ski.
I think this park's been here for, not sure, maybe 10 years now, and we needed a good local park. Like most of us here are within the fairly close area, close range, so we started coming here 10 to 8 years ago and started catching up with people, and it ended up being a regular thing on a Friday or a Sunday or a Wednesday, any night of the week.
The general vibe, one of the good things I like about Fly Dock, no matter when you come here, you always tend to run into someone that you know or you've seen at another skate park. That's the whole vibe for me. You always bump into someone you know, which is reassuring sometimes. It's good.
My everyday life, I'm a lawyer, father of 5 children. I work Monday to Friday, skate every Sunday. I was rolling around at Dulwich Hill one day, Dulwich Hill Skate Park. I'd been skating for about 2 weeks, I think, not very long. So I could barely stand on the skateboard. And one of the guys that comes here regularly, Mark, came and introduced himself and said, look, why don't you come to 5 Dock on Sundays? We all go, it's really fun, lots of old people. So I did. I've been coming ever since.
Well, I work for myself. I do small commissions and I do architectural homes around the eastern suburbs too, build them, as well as do the architecture. And so I'm sort of freelance. I have my own projects and I have my own time, so to speak. My studio is just in Leichhardt, so it's not too far away. I've covered the walls in old skate decks, like skate art. And as soon as I find an opportunity, I come here to skate. I've tried other skate parks, been to Bondi and Newcastle and Ulladulla and other places far away, but I really like the vibe here, where there's a lot of older guys. The kids are quite respectful. You rarely see kids drinking alcohol or taking drugs here. They generally respect the older people and themselves, so it's got a really good vibe.
Yeah, a lot of people laugh and say, oh, you should have put the skateboard down when you were like 12 or, or when I was a teenager. And yeah, a lot of people laugh at it. Then on the other hand, you get a lot of people like respect that, and like, everyone needs an outlet.
I don't care what people say. I mean, I pick up my daughter from her school. A Neutral Bay is a fairly conservative area, and I pick up my daughter from her school on my skateboard with her skateboard, and we skate home. I don't care what people think.
Sometimes I do get a bit disillusioned that some people think that it's a bit strange that a guy my age actually skates and rides a skateboard, but they just don't understand. I don't expect people to understand, and they're never going to know the thrill of carving a big bowl, or what it's like for the trucks to go over the coping, what it's like to reach down and grab the board and lift it up. They're never going to know that, and to me, that I almost feel a little bit sorry for them at times.
It is a bit kind of odd that, yeah, all these older guys are doing such a young person's sport in a way, but it's something they've been doing, a lot of them, since they were young people, and it keeps them young, I reckon.
I think I started when I was about 8, maybe 8 years old. Probably got a small plastic board for Christmas one year, and that was the start of it. Actually, it wasn't a plastic one, it was one of the fiberglass ones, and it had a racing car on it. It had the urethane wheels, the old style small trucks, and it lasted about 3 or 4 years, I think. Well, I just stuck with it, and I never really did any other sports. I mean, I did school sports, did some rugby at school and a bit of soccer and a bit of cricket, but you know, skateboarding is what I like, and surfing as well. I surf, so surfing and skateboarding pretty much go hand in hand.
The first time I went for a skate was on a really cheap surfy sand board with black sort of wheels, clay wheels, and there was no grip tape on the actual deck. It just had a logo of a little surfy Sam dude surfing in red and white, and it was just a buzz, just rolling down a hill, you know, and just standing on this piece of timber, you know, it's just unreal.
We would roll down the street on it, go to the service stations, which were closed on Sundays back then. And yeah, I remember the service station, there'd be, 30 kids sitting around. 5 or 10 of them might have skateboards, and we'd just share them around and, muck around.
It gave me freedom. It was my means of transport. I would ride everywhere with my skateboard and then just get together with my other skate mates, and we would just skate all day, and that was just what we did. Rather than play PlayStations or computer games, we just got on our boards from early in the morning until late in the evening and just rode around the streets having fun.
I got into skateboarding because I got 2 older brothers, and this is back in the 80s when skating had its first boom. And of course everybody had skateboards, and the older brothers got us into skating way back then. They didn't really pick it up, but I certainly did, and kept at it for years.
I came to the old park when I was probably about 13 or 14 with one of my other mates, and we tried skating the big bowl, and we'd probably get 2 foot below the top, and we still can't believe that people used to skate it.
It's an antique. A lot of guys actually did ride it quite well, but when I come to riding it, I was probably in my early days of skating and hadn't had much experience on a half pipe. But I wouldn't call it much of a half pipe because it's, totally brutal. You had to think quick, and be on your game every time.
I don't know, when you start skating, when you get the bug, it's just like, I'm just reminded of a quote that there was a guy at a bowl and he just looked around at all the older people and he just said, these are the guys that have ruined their lives for skateboarding. Because it is just total obsession. You can't, once you get that bug, you cannot stop.
Yeah, I do feel like a big kid, but at the same time, I like the little kids to kind of look up to like us older guys and say, well, hopefully I'm skating when I'm his age.
The biggest winner at a skate park is the guy that walks home with the biggest smile on his face. That's the guy that's conquered the day, not the guy that did the most radical trick and made it. I've seen plenty of those guys throw their skateboard at the ground and just walk away in frustration. They're not the winner. The winner's the guy, doesn't matter what level, he walks home and he leaves the skate park with a grin ear to ear, and that's what skateboarding's all about.
I reckon they're just doing what they enjoy, and that's great. They found something they love and they stuck to it. It's just more than most people can say for their lives, I think.
I want to keep skating as long as I possibly can. I don't know how long I can skate transition for and vert for. I'm hoping to, well past my 50s if I can. If it gets to the point where it's just starting to really hurt me, like every now and then it will hurt my back a little bit, my hips get a bit sore, my wrists feel like they're going to fall off, and I get those sort of things. So if that becomes a bit of an issue in the next 20 years, I guess I'll just be perhaps, rolling around a car park somewhere. But I can't help it, I'm hooked. Friday nights and just that, it's not unusual for me to go to bed early because I'm just so excited about getting up early the next day just to skate.